All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday edition of Market Movers. Justin is back, looking good, nice and clear. Did we get some internet? Did the people come through on the GoFundMe? How'd that happen?
Yeah, a couple of the people who were just really excited about how many winning bets I've been giving out just actually jumped into my Venmo account and left me a couple $100 to pay for my internet. So that was pretty nice. But no,
very nice of them.
Obviously, nobody's that generous yet, but yeah, we got the HD setup going now. We got the gigabit Wi-Fi. Shouldn't be any more problems. Hopefully, coming to you guys loud and clear today and forever. So really excited about that. Gotta make sure I look good now before I come on the show. But we got a great day of baseball. It's Friday. It's gonna pour across the entire northeastern part of this country. So, we have some interesting stuff to talk about today. This is it makes for a very interesting day of sports betting. How are you doing today, Mike?
I'm great. Rain just stopped here in Nashville, which is nice. Hopefully it stops in some of the other locations, but busy day. I mentioned on the early edge today, 6 of the 14 games have a meaningful postponement risk, although it looks like this Cubs game might start, which could be a good thing. But yeah, a lot of weather. I know you're going to have a few stances on some games here for sure. I think you've already got, 3 plays up on the site already?
I have 4 plays on the site this morning. I definitely want to speak about that for a second. I've been a little frustrated. My leans, I track how everything does. I have a book, not like a sports book. I have a journal where I keep every lean. I look at every MLB game every day. I write down who I think is going to win. The under, the over, the run line, whatever, everything. Yep. And, I'm on fire there, right? I think I'm up 40 units if I had bet all of them this season, which is ridiculous. But yet sometimes you just get a loss like the Orioles score a run in the 9th, or, the guy who you thought had been pitching like ass comes out and throws an 8-inning, 7-inning gem with 7 strikeouts when he had struck out 3 over his last 4 starts. So look, I'm not going to get annoyed. If anything, I'm going to double down a little bit and start giving out more of my picks, more of my analysis, rather than trying to be conservative. So we're going back to the 4-pick game day for me. I think it's going to be a great one. So very excited.
Yeah, I actually haven't looked at the plays. You just mentioned you had them. I think they're all going to have a common theme, though, and I think I'm going to agree with the theme on most of those. But we have one afternoon game. It is my only official play up at this point on the day, and it is the Chicago Cubs.
Yep.
Talk about some line movement in this one. Open minus 140, currently sitting minus 175 for the Chicago Cubs. I bet them this morning on the run line minus 1.5, plus 140, absolute steal at plus 140. The market has moved that one down to plus 120. Massive move, 20 cents on the 20 cents
crazy.
On the run line is a huge move.
Yeah, you usually see the run line lag a little bit behind, right? Because, and this used to confuse me too, so I'll talk about it for a hot second. But the run line, right, has a very different has a very different set of scenarios in which it cashes than the money line. And you're like, well, wait, what? Isn't it just 2 runs? And yeah, but the probability distribution for that looks different. So the odds don't necessarily always move 20 cents on the run line just because it moved 20 cents on the money line and vice versa. So usually they follow in step just in the general trend. Obviously, we've seen 40 cents of movement on the money line and 20 cents on the run line. So, just sort of talking about what that means and why they aren't parallel is a good thing to approach for a second. Again, it's all about the probability distributions. I won't get too deep into the math today. We can do a math stream another day. But no, very excited about that. I just told Mike myself that I actually grabbed this one at like minus 150 last night at 2 a.m. You know, the over under wasn't even up, but a lot of sharp action. Looks like it's the right side of the game, but it might rain, right?
Yeah, it might rain. We got a little time on the stream of this game. This is a conversation I've had recently. I made the decision. My girlfriend actually got me some of these, and they're kind of life changing. I made the decision when I'm in my own home, there's no reason for me to not drink from a crystal glass when I'm drinking anything, right? They're not terribly expensive in today's world anymore. Yeah, so it is something that I do. I don't do it to show off. It's just literally the only glasses that I own in the home anymore. Very minimalist in that sense, but Indianapolis Colts there.
Season. I'm in football season. And wait. Colts coaster. So no one's ever going to question the allegiance of a Colts fan in New York if it's me. But no, right. I'm with you. I usually drink out of glass. I haven't really graduated to the, DFS millionaire crystal vibe just yet. I'll definitely get there. But no, yeah, I think Mike's always drinking out of the crystal. You never really know. It could be, he could just be sipping on a little vodka. We have no idea.
Yeah, no, this is water. I'm a gin guy. The only thing I drink is a Negroni, actually. It's the only cocktail. The only alcohol I drink is a Negroni. I have one of the most ridiculous Negroni bars anyone has in the world right over here. Several $1,000s spent on just gin, exotic gin from around the world. Yeah, just my thing. So yeah, that's what I do. But that's all I drink. So this is not vodka, but these are the only glasses I truly own in this place. So that's why. It's not a flex to try and drink out of it. It's truly all I own at this point here in this place. So anyway, let's get back to some baseball.
Yeah, let's talk a little baseball. All right, so we got this Cubs game. The winds are supposed to be like blowing into the stadium, and we talk about the wind at Wrigley all of the time. It's an under day for me. This is a play I have up on Sportsline. I do think we've seen a little bit of movement on it. It did open up 10 cents cheaper than you're getting it now. So, if you did get it this morning, you're pretty happy about it. I think I did get it at minus 115, but nothing too crazy. 6.5 is low, but I think the public's on the over. So I'm pretty happy to be on the under here today. I do like fading the public in that sense. The first 5 under is juiced, so that does give me some hope. I like Azalea. I think he's, better than his record indicates. I go back to that really nice game he had against the Braves at Truist. I do think he can come out with nice stuff against the Cincinnati roster that really is a lot better when they're at home. So.
Yeah, I think that there are 2 things I will say about this. I saw the comment about taking the over. In Major League Baseball, the over, taking the over at 6.5 is never a horrible thing, right? In any park, but here at Wrigley, I do lean towards the under. I like the under in this one. The one extreme wild card that we have in this game is we have a pitcher making his Major League debut. On the road at Wrigley Field, dealing with elements. That is possibly concerning. Like, it's not going to shock me at all if the Cubs have a 4-run first inning. That could be trouble to the over/under at 6.5.
A little.
The models are going to tell them. Yeah. So.
But yeah, I mean, -6 VMI on both teams. 19 mile an hour wind blowing in. It's going to be drizzle, overcast. We'll see. I'm excited for this game. I love a little day baseball on Friday. It's going to be 49 degrees, too. Kind of chilly.
Yeah, no, I made the comment on the early edge, too. Usually this is not a correlated play. It's very counterintuitive, but I actually do like the Cubs run line and the under in the game. I personally think it's a 4-1 Cubs win. That's what I'm feeling on this one.
I'm with you. And, shout out to Baseball VMI. Today is the first day where you need to be a premium subscriber to get access to one of our favorite tools. We obviously will talk about it, drop a couple numbers here and there, but, definitely want to make sure you guys support them. They really have, a really cool product, a really advanced index that they've created for anyone to use. It's $20 for a year. They've won you some money. If you want to maybe make some bets before we come on the show and even beat the market even more, it's a good investment. Next game on the slate, Rockies Pirates. This is what do you make here? These are both
Pirates.
booty teams.
Yeah, this is another game on the list that has some major weather issues. I don't have a lot to say about it other than the Pirates have emerged as the sharp side, and I will. The one thing I will say about that is when the Pirates emerge as a sharp side, I usually want to be getting plus 150 or more when I'm taking that sharp side. I really want to get paid off when I'm making that investment there. A little nervous with them tracking as a sharp side at basically even money. They've moved from plus 110 to basically even money at William Hill right now, despite 60% of the bets coming in on the Rockies. I think it's one of those obviously negative park shift for the Rockies. Potentially long weather delays. Those are a lot more comfortable for the home team than they are for the road team. I think that's probably why you see it. And then obviously the most obvious thing is Trevor Story's probably going to sit. He's listed as questionable. I think that because of the big weather conditions, the potential delay, when a star player like that is questionable, there's no reason to make him sit there and deal with the elements and mess around with that. So I think that it's pretty obvious that Trevor Story's going to sit, whether this one plays or not.
Yep, I'm totally with you. It's hard to. This is like a rock in a hard place in the worst way possible. You have the 1-9 in their last 10. Pirates they have not won any of their last 5 games. They got swept by the Cubs. They got swept by the Braves, and now they're at home, where they haven't been all that much better. They're 8-14, but you're talking about the Rockies. Excuse me. You're talking about the Rockies, who are 3-20 on the road. So that's crazy. Question on the screen: first 5 over. We've been all over first 5 overs this year. I don't hate it, Mike. I'm interested in your take. A 7.5 run total indicates some scoring is expected by Vegas. So depending on what you're getting, I mean, if you can get plus money on that, I'm probably with it. But yeah, this is a stay away. I think the Rockies could win it.
Yeah, you're laying minus 120 to go over 3.5 in the first 5. Not something I'm interested in. Okay, the question is first inning?
Yeah, first inning.
Okay, first inning. You're also laying money, juice to take a run scored in that one, right?
Not without Trevor Story, then. If it's juiced, I'm probably not taking it. But I felt like
even money, plus 100. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't have a strong take on it. Overall, pretty good pitching environment overall. I don't have a strong take on it.
Yep. I'm leaving it alone.
Give you more, but I can't give you anything on that. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I called that Rockies-Mets game right yesterday, but that was more a play on Stroman and then Citi Field. So, but all right, let's go on. What do we have next?
Brewers Nationals, another game trending to not play today. Ridiculous weather. I think this one's a pretty obvious and easy postponement, but we've seen the total drop from 9.5 to 9. We've seen the money line tighten up just a little bit. Nationals 125 down to minus 115. No real movement on the Brewers on the plus money side. I don't have a lot of thoughts on it other than I think that this one is one of the more likely games to get postponed. I think that this one, it's not going to happen while we're on stream, but by, in this afternoon, this game's going to get postponed.
Yeah. Totally with you. Something is caught in my throat. That stinks. But, it's going to be raining. It looks like the precipitation chance is above 80. The tarp's going to be out. You're probably not going to see this one played. Going to make for an interesting doubleheader potentially tomorrow or later in the season. We always are looking at those games very interestingly. By the time we're halfway through the year, which is about 20 to 30 games away now, I'm going to take an interesting deep dive into the data that we've gotten on the sample size of these games, because we do a fair number, and see if there's anything that's been happening in them that we can actually pick on. It has been feeling like unders, but again, we'll just keep watching.
I'll mention one thing else real quickly here. If this game does play, it's worth mentioning there are, according to Baseball Savant and StatCast data, there are 283 pitchers in Major League Baseball that are qualified to have their expected data tracked, being starters, relievers, whatever. Brett Anderson, lefty for the Brewers, rates 281st out of 283. His actual weighted on base average is 360. His expected is 429 with a 614 expected slugging percentage. Not good. Not good at all. So
no,
I would probably feel comfortable playing the Nationals, but the game's not going to play.
It's a stay away from me. All right.
Yeah.
Up next is another. The wind, man. What? This is a ridiculous day. 22 miles an hour blowing in from right field for the Toronto Blue Jays and Cleveland Indians.
Yep.
Wow.
A lot like Wrigley. The weather conditions here are nearly identical to Wrigley Field today.
Yeah.
50 degrees, 23 miles per hour in. Brutal.
I think it's probably an under game if it plays, right? It's hard for players to hit in the wind. I mean, if a pitch gets in the wind and moves half an inch more than they're used to, that's a big deal. And if it moves a centimeter more than they're used to, you're talking about a change in a launch angle. You're talking about a foul ball instead of a home run. Like, baseball is such a game of inches that wind matters. So, you're not going to be like, oh, it's just some wind. Like, if your slider doesn't break the extra half inch you need to avoid the bat, like, you understand the implications, right? So, under here, don't know who's going to win. Toronto without a potential long ball situation might be defeatable, but I do make them the better team still. And, I'd only play an under if the game happens.
Yeah, for me, it's a clear under. It's already moved a full run in the market from 8.5 down to 7.5. Obviously, a little late to the party, probably still playable, honestly. Another thing to consider in some of these games is they might be shortened games if they do play. This one in particular, I do think they can play it. The rain does not appear to be heavy. Yeah. It's just nasty. Like, it's going to drizzle. It's going to be 50 degrees with that wind. It's literally going to feel like probably 38 degrees on the wind chill, which is, we play baseball in that all the time. But by the time you get to late May and June, that's going to feel very uncomfortable. From what the baseline is, especially for this Toronto team that is used to playing in Florida, where it's already been 90 degrees routinely for their games. So that's something to consider here. I like the under. If I had to play a side, you wanted to. I mean, I think you have to play the Indians at home at plus 150. It's what it's approaching. But
it's a sharp side
overall,
too. It's definitely a sharp side of the market. I don't trust it, so I'm staying off.
Yep. Braves, Mets, that up next for you?
Yeah, that's what I got too. Just running through it by time here. All right, so another one. This one, New York's about to get pelted by rain all weekend. It's going to be gross here. I'm really not excited. I wanted to meet up with a buddy or two to watch the Knicks game at a bar because it's like kind of finally time to maybe start considering those activities, and it's just not the weekend for it. So we'll try next week. But no, it's going to be gross. Another game with double-digit winds blowing in. This is one that I played. This is an under that I played. I'm all over Citi Field unders. This is one of the most profitable trends in the MLB, right next to fading the Rockies on the road. And I think it's just because of the Mets. Like, I think it's just the Mets are just bad right now. And the over has happened all of 2 times this year. It was just with the wind blowing in, with the VMI numbers so low, with rain expected, 55 degrees by the end of the night. I'm not expecting the Mets to muster up very much, and the Braves aren't really going to help either. I don't think so. We'll see.
Yeah, no, very watered down lineups. Even on the Braves side, losing Marcell Ozuna just absolutely brutal for that lineup. This game's not going to play anyway. This one's definitely, like, the Washington one and the New York Mets one are easily the highest risk. I don't see this one playing. I think it's a very easy early postponement. Let's see. What do we have next on here? Going to be another game that's going to tell you the exact same story because half the baseball games are played in the Northeast today, and then it's also raining in the Midwest. So Marlins at Red Sox.
Oh, you're going there. Okay. I thought we were going to go Yankees, but all right.
Oh, Yankees. We can go Yankees Tigers. Yeah, it's right there. They both start at 6:10, but well, this one's actually in Detroit.
Oh, my apologies.
This is a Detroit game.
That is totally correct. I totally misread that little bit of data there. My apologies, everyone. But yeah, this is one that I think we have some K prop action on from some of the. I think Larry's on Mr. Garrett Cole to get double-digit strikeouts today. He's looking to bounce back off of a pretty bad outing last time for his standards. The VMI numbers are, again, in the toilet today. Like, I just haven't seen consistent -6, -7s like we're seeing across the board almost ever. I didn't play the under, but I think it is how you would do it. I just know it's, pick of the day, Tigers, Yankees. What you got? I didn't really play it, but interested to hear what you think, Mike.
Yep. The Jake's play of the day is going to be Mize over 4.5 Ks is his play of the day.
I like it.
I definitely do not hate it. The thing that I'll talk about here is the wind is actually blowing out, which is different than basically every other baseball game today. It's one of the games that's going to play still. Like it's up on the weather report, but I don't see any way that they don't play it. It's going to be playable. It's going to be not fun. Like the weather still sucks. It's going to be cold. I think that obviously favors the under, favors pitching conditions. Going to be one of the few games, if you're playing DFS, that's left to actually have some value left to stack teams up with the Yankees, giving them that 9th inning team at bat. But overall, I'm not laying the price on that. I know the Maestro is on the over on Garrett Cole. I personally am not on the over. I have him just below that in the median number of strikeouts. Obviously, he has the upside to get there very, very easily. But I do not have the edge to make the play myself. So totally staying away. Other than if you want to play the under, go for it.
Yep. I mean, I'm not really much of a prop guy. Gave it a shot last night, and Jokic. Sorry, guys, but okay. All right. Anyway, yeah, I didn't really feel any which way about the Yankees, but the next game that we started talking about, the Marlins and the Red Sox, I know we both have plays. I'm looking at the under here. You want to talk to everyone about what you saw? I know you mentioned a little bit about it on the early edge, but for people who maybe didn't catch it.
Yeah, same story. It's, massive weather concerns, obviously. I think that this one is probably the third most likely to be postponed after the Nationals and the Mets games. The issue is it starts with rain all day and it just gets worse throughout the day. So it's one they could start and try and get some of it in, maybe play through some miserable conditions, get to 5, cash that side that you're probably going to be on. For me, I'm still on the Boston run line. I like this spot for them quite a bit. I like Martin Perez. I love it. He's a very good pitcher. I agree with Larry's prop on the over there. Not really threatened by the Marlins lineup at all. Their starting pitcher's been decent at times. However, I would like to see him pitch in the American League at Fenway against a talented lineup in the weather conditions. Just going to be a very uncomfortable environment for him. And I think the Red Sox are going to put 3 to 4 runs on the board in the first time to time and a half through the order. And then hopefully we get out of town and they close this game out in the 5th and postpone it for, end it for rain early. But that's kind of my thoughts on this one.
Yeah. Like you said, this one has a pretty good chance to not see the field. I'm really thinking that, getting to 9 was a high number. I was really happy to not see this at 8, not see this at 7.5, especially with how things have been going. Marlins haven't been scoring, only over in 3 of their last 10. And I talk about that because it does help you to get a sense of like the pulse on a team. Just at a very basic level, it can give you a sense of, okay, that probably means their pitchers aren't getting blown up, and it means that their hitting isn't blowing people up. These are the things that lead to high percentages over the recent 10 game and give you like a quick snapshot. Obviously, I go into a lot more depth. I know that, the pitcher today for Boston has some pretty nice numbers in terms of K rate and how his pitches have been moving. And we love to see the correlated play coming from guys like Larry because, what do strikeouts mean? It means less balls in play, less RBI opportunities, less chances to actually do something dangerous. So, when you see the gears turning to sort of create this whole idea, you have the wind, you have the expected performance from the Boston pitcher, and you have Miami really not being susceptible to high-scoring games recently. I really like this play, and I was, again, pretty stoked to have 8.5. If you lose a play like that, you sit there and you say, you get it next time, you keep going with the analysis, but I really do believe this is the right call today.
Yep. Could not agree more with you on that. For all of you that love the narratives out there, we have a little fun one in this one. For the Marlins, Jose Devers made his Major League debut, I believe, back in April. But now he gets to play his cousin, Rafael Devers, for the Boston Red Sox. So we love some of those narrative moments. That'll be a fun one for their families. Just something to think about if you are someone that likes to play those angles at all.
Yep. We got one of those tonight. You think Kyrie Irving's going to go off against Boston?
I mean, they might let him. It's in the NBA. It's a little tricky with that team because there's so many stars on that roster that, it's, if it was a normal situation, like, sure. But in that team, we were playing with Durant and Harden. And, I don't know.
Ridiculous. If they don't win the championship, I don't even know. But all right. What do you got next?
Next up, looks like it's going to be Padres Astros.
Cool.
That's one we'll grab that one next. This one is also one of the few daily fantasy games that you'll be able to play today. No weather can be the issue there. They can close the roof in Houston if there was any concern. Mm-hmm. Astros have emerged as the sharp side here. Open plus 105, moved all the way to minus 115. Over 50% of the action still coming in on the Padres. Brutal little road trip for the Padres in a sense.
They've been running around here a little, huh? I mean, there's been a lot of buying. Padres open minus 125. You can get them minus 105 or so now, depending where you look.
You can get them at plus 110 at William Hill right now. William Hill's hanging plus 110 on the Padres.
That's nuts. Consensus on action is still minus 105. So they're begging you. That is a book asking for your money to be on that side.
Yep.
I'm with Houston, man. I think they're coming off of a tough stretch. They finally got a game off of the Dodgers last night. They're probably going to try to build a little momentum. They got swept by the Rangers. I promise you that doesn't sit well with them. I promise you they know they've dropped the last 4 games before finally waking up yesterday, getting a 2-5 win off of the Dodgers. But, Padres been running around. They got beat a couple times by the Brewers, who are finally looking good again. Houston's no joke. I think there usually is a trend about like the public perception of NL and AL teams. So when you get like top tier teams from both leagues playing each other, like you have here in terms of like the mind's eye, which Houston and San Diego obviously are, you're going to get an advantage for Houston because the AL typically is better. And especially with the AL being at home, you have that advantage on the designated hitters. So if I was playing this, I'd probably have grabbed Houston this morning. And maybe this one has a chance for an over because, again, these are both very potent offenses with pitchers that don't have long track records this season.
Yep. I agree with all of that. And the comment I'll make on that is the Astros are mostly finally healthy. Brantley and Alvarez are both listed as questionable, but if they both are back in the lineup, Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, Alvarez, Gurriel, Correa, Tucker, Straw, Maldonado is a lot better than some of the lineups the Astros were running out there over the last few weeks. So
100%. This is the lineup no one wants to see in the playoffs.
Yeah,
for sure.
No doubt about that. All right, next game I find to be pretty interesting. We find the Royals in this spot relatively frequently where you're getting a nice plus 150 to plus 200 payout on them against the Twins. And some of the expected data on this one is very interesting for me. Randy Dobnak has not been very good in terms of expected data. You want to look at his numbers really quickly. His sample size is a little smaller because he hasn't pitched as much, but his 317 actual weighted on base average is going to put him around league average. The expected number on that is 381. Expected slugging over 518. Ooh. And then on the other side, for the Royals pitcher, He's actually been great. 247 actual, 291 expected, still right in line there. But the thing that stands out is the expected slugging, only 326. That is a really, really good number. I don't hate the Royals at plus 150.
Well, I don't think you're aware that I am playing the Twins on the run line.
All right.
But
I don't look at anything beforehand. I think a lot of people may or may not know that. I truly have no clue. I am always in my own world.
Yep. And that's what is really nice. It's probably the right way to handicap things. You sort of want to make your analysis in an insular state, because the last thing you want to do is be like I don't know what Mike picks before I send my picks in. I don't. And I refuse to. I don't want to know what he's thinking. I want my analysis to come from me and not be skewed in any way. So I did take the Twins. I'll let you know what I said today. I think that the distribution of winning scenarios for the Twins is them winning by multiple runs. So this isn't so much of a play on. I see this almost as taking the money line in a sense, because I see a lower distribution or a lower expected number of outcomes in a one-run game for the Twins. I think if they're going to take this game, they're going to take it by force. It's going to be another one of their big powerhouse offensive days, and you're just not going to see the Royals be able to keep up. The Royals have struggled hitting on the road this season. You can just see them potentially falling flat and the Twins sort of running away with this. So this isn't necessarily saying like, I know that this is going to happen, but I'm saying you're getting value on my expected outcome distribution because I see a heavier potential for this to cash than maybe expected by Vegas. So I think you're basically playing the money line with a small chance that they win by one.
You see me do this a lot. I mean, it's what I do with the Chicago Cubs a lot. Do it a lot with a lot of teams, frankly. Do it with Boston pretty frequently. Yep. But my data tells me that is the best thing to do, regardless of what other people that say they bet for years will tell you. So that's what I do. So I don't mind that. There's no chance I'm laying minus 160 on this Twins team. So the distribution on the run line is a lot better. Yeah. So real quick, we got enough time, and then we'll jump off after these last few games. But I did want to mention that because I do not work with anyone really when it comes to like betting on that, and I highly recommend that you don't. One of my favorite lines and favorite quotes in the world is the most contrarian thing you can do is to think for yourself. And the group think that a lot of us in this industry, a lot of people in daily fantasy in general, everyone has and suffers from group think. It's a major, major problem. So if you have a buddy that you like to work with and like to play with, and you want to still get that, what I used to do in daily fantasy with some of my friends, rather than colluding together and working on, and I call it colluding, it's a terrible word, but like working together to build lineups, working together through data, I don't want to do that. So what I would like to do, like with someone like Justin, is I have my process, I'm going to do it. You have your process, you're going to do it. And then we're just going to swap 5% equity in each other. So you now own 5% of my equity and everything that I'm doing. I own 5% of your equity and that. And that's a way to capture the upside of your friend being good while still not derailing either one of your processes. So that's something that I do, and I always believe it. So I didn't mean to sound like an asshole and say, I think the Royals are a good play. I have no clue what you played. Yeah. And that's just the way I do everything, frankly.
I don't think it makes you sound like an asshole. I think, it's really important to have like an honest, unbiased discussion about what we see in the numbers. There's no getting your feelings hurt because we analyze numbers differently. How dare you, Mike? How dare you think the Royals might be a value play today? I think I need to find a new co-host for the show. No, obviously I totally agree. There are days where like I open up Twitter and I'm scrolling through my feed and I have, I follow some of the big names in the industry. So a lot of the FanDuel guys, a lot of those DraftKings guys will give out their picks for free. And like, when I see their card, I'm like, nope. We're closing Twitter. We're not coming on here. And then scrolling the feed until, I don't want to know what the Twitter hive mind is on today. because I'll fade them without even thinking about it, and I'll get biased. So again, I totally agree. I know when I was first learning to bet, I think I had a little bit more than 5% equity in what you were playing. But, I think look, you gotta know how to do it. And now I think I balance what I play as a much higher percent, because I do trust myself. And then when we agree, I'm like, oh, sweet. Two separate processes that come together to give you something that, independent analysis agrees on. It's just like, that's much better than being like, did these guys talk about this before they got on the show? We don't.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
So, all right, cool.
No.
What do we got? I think we are looking at the Orioles and the White Sox. This is fascinating to me. Another game in Chicago where the weather's awful. It's getting played late at night. This might be okay to play. Yeah. The rain might be gone. I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah, this one is interesting. I probably should have mentioned it, but I do think that the rain is going to clear up enough. I think that obviously in Chicago, they're very comfortable playing in terrible conditions because that's just the reality that they're forced with every year. So I think this game's probably going to play. I think the story here, let's look at some of the movement in the market. Yeah, the story here, little buying on the Orioles, just a tiny bit, not even really. It's just kind of, let me see with some of the other books.
It was almost just that the White Sox were just so expensive that probably they weren't getting action at minus 225.
I will say one thing about the White Sox. They busted through last night and got it done for people who backed them on the run line late. I was not one of them, but Tim Anderson is questionable again. They are a little different team, especially early in ball games without his bat in that lineup. Tim Anderson, Adam Eaton, both questionable tonight against Matt Harvey. Probably doesn't matter, but if both are out, it does water the lineup down to the point where it's probably worth 10 to 15 cents in the betting market if they do not. It's not a good hitting environment tonight. I think it's going to be a high of 50 degrees, 20 miles per hour, wind blowing in. It's going to feel cold.
Yeah, I mean, this is my fourth play of the day. This is the last one I have. I am on 3 unders today, and this is the third. Here's what I said. I'll literally read you some of my words. I said a total sitting below 9 for a game featuring one of the best offenses in baseball in the White Sox and a team that has been recently destroying left-handed pitching in the Orioles means one thing. Weather is involved, right? So we are seeing a huge 20-plus mile-an-hour wind blowing in from left field tonight. There's a real good chance that that's going to be a major factor. You have negative VMI. You have, potential difficulty making contact. You've obviously the ball is not going to leave the park the way it should. So, I'm on the under. I think this is who's pitching for this one. I think it's a Keuchel game. So that I love playing Keuchel games under. He keeps the ball on the ground, which is just, if he's on, it's like every inning is 3 ground outs and you're just like, I love you. So let's hope it's one of those days. And that's my fourth play of the day.
Yep. I think that I don't even think I definitely agree with you on that one. I think that it's also important to note that Trey Mancini will not be in the lineup for the Orioles tonight, and he's been a massive piece of that lineup. Cool. So good. Definitely not going to hurt your underplay in any way by not having. Yeah, definitely. All right, what else we got next? Let's see. Cardinals, White Sox, or Diamondbacks? Yeah.
This game was, I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday, and Diamondbacks were winning, and they blew it, right? Is that what happened? Am I thinking
Cardinals? No, yeah. Carlos Martinez, the guy I talked shit on, had a no-hitter through 6.
Yeah.
They were up early, and then that inning they blew up. I didn't even see the final result of the game because I did not have a play on it, so I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah. No, it was they won in extras in the 10th. The Cardinals won it, but they blew the run line, and I think there were people who had that run line, especially when it turned to the Cardinals being the favorite. Yeah, at the end of the day, interesting game. Definitely makes it interesting for tonight. I think, you have another tight one. I don't know that you're going to get a great performance out of this Cardinals team. I don't, and I don't feel confident in saying that either. So this is like a big stay away from me. Huge stay away. No idea.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, the Diamondbacks were a massive sharp side yesterday, and that basically said we weren't really sure that we agree with it. They are a big sharp side again today in terms of market movement. We don't see the actual sharp tracking on it, but they've moved a good 20 cents. This one did open minus 110 on both sides, basically. Cards are up to plus 120, minus 130 on the Diamondbacks. The one game on the slate that we've seen movement towards the total, gone up from 9 to 9.5. Yep. One that I probably would have been comfortable playing at 9. Obviously, didn't get
don't
it.
Take the don't take the loss condition on 9 now, though. I wouldn't do that. No. But 101 degrees. I've never been to Arizona. I've never felt those temperatures. I just have to think it can't be fun to play in 100-degree weather, right?
Well, I mean, we'll get. My favorite comment is it's a dry heat. So there's no humidity. That helps a little.
3%. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's no humidity. So,
but I've never been. I have no idea what that feels like. I only know New York heat, which is literally like the heaviest, muggiest, grossest heat you've ever felt in your life. It feels like mosquitoes could just breed on your arms. It's that muggy. But anyway, Los Angeles Angels at Oakland Athletics. We have this, and I think 2 more games. We have Ohtani going tonight after he got scratched last night, and my bets on the Oakland A's that I had got voided, and I lost out on like 2 units, so that was annoying. But no, I don't really know what to do on this one. I think LA's offense is in a little bit of a pickle still without Mike Trout. Hard. And
Ohtani's not gonna. I don't think Ohtani's gonna hit tonight. I think he's just pitching tonight.
Wow.
So
interesting. Is there a reason they're doing that, or is he just like tired, or?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't even see it happened late last night, so I just swapped in DFS. But I don't even know what the reasoning for him not pitching was last night. But yeah, something's up there. So wouldn't shock me to see it happen again. Frankly, wouldn't shock me to see Ohtani scratch from pitching again and just hit just after it happened last night. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's not a game I want to touch if that's all potentially happening. So, all right. The Rangers. Oh, I don't even want to talk about this.
How about the Rangers? I heard they had a lot of sluggers in their lineup facing a weak pitcher last night, and I bet 40% of my bankroll on it. What happened? Ohtani got stuck in traffic, they said last night. That's why he missed the start. Is that real? I wasn't even paying attention. That might be real. It's possible. I mean, I could see him getting stuck in traffic in the Bay Area. That could definitely happen.
Oh man, but okay. I'm glad we talked about that Rangers game. On to the next. No, I took a fat L, and this is like my frustrations. I had called like so many games on my lean sheet right, and I'm like the one that I was like, "Ooh, this pitcher has been bad. Let me," shuts him down. Comes out, shuts him down. Shout out to Larry being like, well, what about him at Safeco? And I was like, I think he's just been bad. And then he was phenomenal. Shout out to Chris Flexen. You deserve it. Take my money. Yeah. I'm sorry. That was just, again, some days you're going to, look at a game and say, I think, X, Y, Z is going to happen based on how this pitcher has been performing over the last month. And then he gets back into form, maybe fixes a mechanic. Yeah, I'm not a pitching coach, but annoying loss. What are you going to do?
Play again today. That's all you can do.
But yeah, I'm not playing this one. I think you're seeing the Mariners again as a sharp side. I'm guessing this has a little bit to do with just the pitching environment that these Mariners pitchers know and are able to throw in, and it just creates a rough place for the Rangers to sort of flex those muscles. But staying off.
Yep. For me, I totally agree with it. I think that if anything, you could play the under, but never feel great about the under with these bullpens. So yes, it did. It is a nice park shift for Jordan Lyles. He's pitched in pretty good parks before in his life. This is one of the worst environments for him normally when he's pitching in Texas, but overall, good pitching environments. don't feel comfortable playing either side of the game. No real
I wonder
edge.
how the Safeco under is just on its own, like, not really diving into anything else. It looks like, give me one quick moment here. It looks like the total 7-14-2 at Safeco this year. So a pretty profitable park to bet an under.
Yeah, we've seen almost a full
sense.
run on this one as well.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. If you're looking for, park plays might be a next year's thing. You might just hear me saying park play. It's funny because you'd think that there would be the reaction to these pitching parks that there is to cores, but there isn't, because nobody spouts off about the incredible run performances like they do at cores for the pitching side. Like, you don't hear anyone be like, oh man, every time everyone goes to Safeco, it's 4 runs, but you hear Colorado 12 runs like every freaking week. So, I think there's a little bit of market ignorance to pitching parks that probably can be taken advantage of.
Yeah, I think that's probably true for the most part.
I'm just going to track it and find out, Mike. I'll find out.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, the only issue with it is there's just a massive difference between 7.5 runs and 9 runs, frankly.
Right.
Yeah. So
huge difference, especially over a whole season, right? Like, on a given day, you might not think that's huge, but like when the lines are coming in at that level for that long, Vegas does acclimate. It's just, are they acclimating enough? All right. Final game of the night. Giants, Dodgers. I don't know, man. This is an interesting one. Dodgers definitely have an advantage in the pitching department tonight. I know people like Anthony DeSclafani, but I just don't think he matches up to the talent on the other side tonight. And any take on this one?
Yeah, that's my take on it. It's one of those situations where obviously we don't love National League home teams on the run line often, as I have played that today with the Cubs. But the Dodgers on the run line, plus 110, I don't hate it. I think we've already seen 15 cents of movement. That's all directly correlated to Cody Bellinger. I think he returns tonight in some capacity for the Dodgers. I think that's going to help them a lot. Just like the Astros, this team is all of a sudden kind of healthy again. Look for them to go on a tear and win as many games as we kind of thought they were going to, at the beginning of the year. The Astros and Dodgers, in my opinion, are about to go on some pretty big winning streaks. Betts back in the lineup, Bellinger potentially there. Just Betts, Turner, Muncy, Bellinger, Will Smith. Like, that lineup is a lot more intimidating than the Dodgers lineups we were talking about even 4 or 5 days ago.
Mookie Betts is just a cornerstone to any team. I mean, he just, entirely establishes how a pitcher has to attack your batting order. He totally boosts everyone who comes after him in terms of like the percentage of the time that they're going to be seeing pitches out of the stretch instead of out of the windup. These little differences that necessarily might not be displayed in the numbers. Mookie Betts is that guy. He's that, like, statistics can't really show you just how important his play and his presence can be. So, yeah, Dodgers, it's about to be June. It wouldn't surprise me if they lost 5 games in June.
Yep. No, they're about to go on a run. I don't hate the run line at all tonight.
Nope.
All right.
But yeah,
I think that is everything. I don't know if you want to touch on NBA real quickly at all. Do you have any thoughts?
I mean, someone tweeted at us, was like, what are the odds that all 3 underdogs win tonight? It's about 4%. Don't parlay that. It's going to be tough for a couple of these away teams to win. I think I don't know if anything's really moved too much, but Celtics aren't taking a game off of the Nets, so do not put that in your parlays tonight. I think we're going to get
Celtics are a lock now. You don't tell me that. Don't tell me something can't happen. Come on, buddy.
It's not going to happen.
The internet did hold up great though. We'll throw that up on the screen because your internet was fantastic. There has been movement though.
I've been smiling all day. But there has been movement towards the Nets, right?
Oh, big time. They opened 275. They're now minus 350. Let's talk about your New York Knicks though. They opened plus 140. Now they're plus 170.
I like that money.
I was gonna say if that approaches minus or plus 200 later this afternoon or tonight, are you taking that?
Yeah, probably just for fun. Something that you said last night rings pretty true to me. I really liked the angle that you said. It's like, if you want to bet the Knicks in the series, if you are thinking about, I think 1-1, they're going to win this, you're going to get better odds on tonight than you're probably going to get on the series. So, I really don't think the Knicks can win this if they drop tonight. Like, I just think the attitude if unless you can like really do that cheesy moral victory stuff at the end of the game where it was like, okay, shots didn't fall, but they played a really tight game and they lost by 2. Sure, it's probably not over. Game 4 might be more contested, but like if they get destroyed tonight, it's done. So I'd probably do what you said. I'd play this at the plus money rather than going and grabbing the series price right now. I don't know. I think the Knicks might show up tonight. I think Julius Randle kind of figured it out at the end of game 2, and we saw that like the moment this Knicks team turns it on, they are the better squad on that floor, and they might only need it for 12 minutes in the second half. So
I agree with that. Like, obviously, I agree with it. I said it yesterday. So definitely look to taking game 3s when you're looking at underdog series prices because those are that's the key game for sure. I see the last comment, Clips Mavs over 219. This one's dropped 2 points. Under is the sharp side in the market. However, these games have just continued to go over with no absolute defense. I've wanted to lean towards the under every time in this game. The data is going to tell you to lean under.
I think it's just
hasn't been hitting.
Luka, like when you get reminded that this dude is 22 years of age, oh my God, I hate it a little bit. I'm 28 and I hate it. But he is a monster. We are watching an all-time great get his stripes this series. He went in and he beat one of like the best considered postseason players in Kawhi Leonard back to back. Kawhi dropped 41 and they still couldn't win. So, man, I put a small prop bet on Clips in Mavs in 5 because, hi, Chief. How you doing? But, I think they'll get one game. I don't think they'll get swept. But, oh, my gosh. Paul George, what are you going to do, dude? Pandemic P. I thought we got ourselves good, man. But, all right, I'm excited to watch, but...
For sure. All right, we're going to call this a stream. I think someone is at the door. Maybe some new tennis balls delivered for Chief. I don't know, but he's not enjoying this moment. So that's going to be a good point to wrap it. Make sure you guys are clicking the subscribe button. When we go live, follow us on Twitter. We'll be hanging out on Discord, and we'll be back. Are we coming back tomorrow?
Yeah, we're here tomorrow, man.
We're here tomorrow. Perfect. See you guys.
Let's do it.